Hey, welcome back to Mistake Man. A while ago, I saw one of these Tamiya electric handy drills on the internet and thought it was pretty cool, looked useful, and considered getting it and did a little bit of research on it. And once I realized that it's actually a kit you can build, then I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. Um, just for the build fun alone, I think it's going to be worth it. And also, I think it's actually going to be useful. So I wanted to make a video just showing the build of this little thing. I think it'll be fun. So yeah, here we go. It comes as a little kit with the plastic parts on sprues. It's even got a sticker. How about that? There's our motor, various hardware, and these instructions. Oh, I thought they were on the box. No, it's a separate. All right, yeah, let's build it. Got all that crinkly plastic out of the way. Now, almost. Let's open this. Okay, looks like the first piece we need is one of these copper pieces. Looks like that guy right there. Whoop. It's called a battery terminal B. And then piece B5. Looks like maybe this one here. Yep, B5 right there. Okay, hold it like that. Looks like slot this little tab on the end here down into this little slot right here. It goes in underneath and then over. And then it looks like I'm supposed to push that till it snaps. Okay, so then there's kind of a loop on this side that's got to fit over down into that slot and over their little plastic tab there. There we go. Okay. Something like that. And then we need battery terminal A, which looks like this guy. And then it looks like it's a very similar thing. There's a tab on the end here, folded over section there. And that tab's got to go in that little slot underneath. And then this side's got to go down in that slot until it snaps. Okay, there we go. Next step, attaching the motor. Here's our motor. And then there's a gear. Yep, I think that's the guy. Doesn't look like it goes on in any particular direction. It could go either way. Okay, there we go. Looks like it goes this way. We've got to have the terminals on the motor, these little brass colored guys, facing upward, because it looks like those have to come in contact with those little copper tabs that we've placed in there. So it's going to go like this, in like that. There's a little flat spot on the back of the motor there. That's got to hook under the flat of this thing here. Okay. It's in there pretty snug. All right, set that aside for now. Attaching the trigger. All right, so we got to take this half of the body here, cut that away. I don't need to make this look pretty, it's just a tool. There's that. Okay, B8 is the trigger right here. Where that little knob goes inside that hole there. Okay. And then they do have a little icon that says to apply grease. This kind of little grease tube icon here, and then if they've got it showing right there, and then right there, and they've supplied a little tube of grease. So the little cap for the grease tube is molded into the plastic of the same plastic that the grease tube is made of. So you twist that until it breaks the cap off. Then you've still got to open up that hole there, but then you've got a little cap that you can put on over it. That's clever. Let's see if the plastic here is thin enough. Oh yeah, okay. That just poked right through. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little grease there. I want to get an idea for how this works first. Okay, B2. What's this one? There's B2 and then B3. Is this one here? It says there's a bushing. Don't recognize that. Oh, here it is. Little brass piece in there. That's the bushing. Let's get that out. The bushing has a wider shoulder on one end here. You can see there's kind of a counter bore there for that bushing shoulder to fit into. Like that. Okay, and then that's going to go, this slot here is going to go over this knob on the trigger. And so I guess when you pull the trigger, it's going to kind of slide up and down inside that little slot there. And then there's a hole here pointing with this piece here. There's the hole right there. The bushing's going to sit on top of that, and then there's a screw with a spring that needs to go in. And then this bottom hole goes over the little post on the end of this piece. Looks like it just sits down in there, something like that. Okay, let's find the little screw says it's a 2 by 12 millimeter. Probably that guy right there. And I need a washer. It's one of the small ones. And then 2 by 12. And then there's also a return spring. Looks like that. Goes in there as well. The spring goes on first, and it goes... Oh no, see, I skipped a step. I was going from left to right, doing this first, then this, but I really need to go top to bottom, so I gotta do this first. Alright, so let's back this train up. Just pull that out with the bushing, set it aside for now. Okay. Alright, what do we need here? B7. It's going to be this guy right here. And then a spring there. And shaft stopper. It's this one right here. Yep, that guy right there. Okay, that goes this way. Spring goes over it. Like that. And then the piece B7 goes over it like this. Okay. Like that. And then that fits down into this little bit right here. Drop the little shaft stopper in first. Oh, okay, so that comes out the back as a little button. So must be so you can push that in when you want to adjust the collet, replace a bit, so it stops it from spinning. Drop the spring in, and then here's our plastic piece over that. There we go, and that just press fits onto there. Okay, and then we've got piece B4. There's piece B4, and I also need B6. It's this one right here. Okay, couple of little pieces there. Those pinch together through the housing. And then there's a screw that holds them together. 2mm by 8mm screw. That's this little one here. And it looks like that just threads through B4 directly into B6. I think it's just self-tapping through that plastic. The plastic hole on this outside piece wasn't really threaded. Not sure how tight that needs to be. Obviously don't want to go too tight because just strip the threads on that, but it's not really pinching that against the housing at this point. But I'm going to leave that there. I don't want to overdo it. I'll come back and see if that's too loose. I'll try to tighten it up later. Now we got to put the trigger in. And then this whole assembly here. Okay, and then it looks like this little spring here goes over that bushing, and then there's a little 90-degree bend on that spring up at the end here. Goes through that hole right there in that linkage. And then, yeah, over the shaft. And then it looks like maybe it's designed for, yeah, this little part of the spring to drop in behind this little tab that's sticking up here. So that should provide the tension. I did say I need to add grease to this pin here and that joint there. No idea if this is going to be runny. What kind of grease we've got here? A mostly empty tube. Ooh, there it is. Okay, that's like a silicone grease almost. There's not much in there. Not that we need much. Barely any in there. Okay. I don't know how much we need. Actually, if there are other places where this is going to be needed, you can look and see here. As soon as I get this on there. So I see those two spots. There's a couple spots on the shaft. Those two spots there that I just did. A couple spots on the shaft. Another one there on the gear shaft. Oh, there's a bunch there. Okay, so the whole shaft assembly's got to be well lubricated, which makes sense. All the gears. So, I don't know if I have enough to actually cover all that. We'll see. I have to spread this around a little bit. So I'm not going to need a lot on these little pins. Should have used a different tool because I'm probably going to want these tweezers. Fail. I do have other tweezers. Those are just my favorite. Okay. Let's put this back together. There I go, grabbing for the tweezers. Okay. All right, so that all gets held together with this screw and washer. Really through the bore of that bushing, and then there's a hole in the plastic handle housing just below it there that it's going to thread into. Well, it's going to self-tap into. Try and get that as straight as I can. Okay. Again, I don't really want to really crank down on that screw until I've kind of finished the assembly. Well, that one really, the spring, it's really the only thing that's holding that spring behind that little tab there is that washer, and it's not really, doesn't have enough compression to hold it in. It's screw is, or the spring is wanting to pop up as I pull the trigger. There we go. That's, nope, still not good enough. See, it kind of popped up there. So, still a little ways to go. Seems to be good. It's not really moving at the spring anymore, so. Step 4 is assembling the drive. Okay, so we need the drill shaft. Which would be this guy right here. And then the bushing, where did that end up? There it is. So it looks like it's going to ride there, so that's where I need the grease. We need a gear here. This is gear C1, which is here. And these parts where it attaches to the sprue are attached directly to the gear teeth. That's an interesting choice. I'm going to just remove them from the sprue first so I can. And that's going to leave little nubs of plastic on there, and that's what I need to remove. So let me get a knife and do my best to clean those up. Okay. Not bad on that side. Let's do the other one. Okay. Not too bad. So it's got this side here where the hole has got the hex shape to it, and then round on this other side. So I think this goes on the shaft this way with the hex towards the inside because the shaft has some hexagonal flats on it there. So it's going to go like that, and then one of the clips, little circle clips, is going to go on the end there to hold that on. Once it goes into the housing, it looks like this bushing is going to slot down into that section there. So that's going to hold it in place so it doesn't slide around this way. Let's get one of these little circle clips. So let's go on like this. Oop, pliers are a little bit magnetic. That's going to be a pain. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit, just pinching that until it clips on. Or flies away. Trying to do this without pinching myself. Or letting the clip go flying across the room. Ah, there we go. Okay. Looks like it's on the way, all the way on. Nope, it wasn't. Just clicked it a little bit further. There we go. Part C5. Oh, that's B. This is C here. This part C5. This one is not symmetrical either. It's a little bit bigger in diameter on this side than it is on this side. And so I'm not actually sure. Oh, and the actual hole diameter is bigger on this side than this side. That'll probably give me a clue to how this goes, because it's not really clear from the picture. But I'm guessing this side is, yep. So that fits with the bigger side going onto this shaft. I need piece C3, which is this other large gear. No, that's C2 that's still on there. C3 is the one that's already fallen off. Okay, let me check that to see if I need to clean that up. I can't even tell where that was attached. Oh, there's a little bit there. Okay, it really wasn't too bad. And then a 2x19mm shaft. Okay, looks like they're both the same size, so it doesn't matter which one I use here. It's one of these guys, little steel polished plated steel shaft. And that's got to go through there, but I do need to add some grease to that. And then I need C4 on the other end of that. So there's C4, it's got a small hole and then no hole on the other side. And that goes up on the back here. And there's supposed to be grease on all of that, basically anything that's coming in contact with that shaft. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit right at the opening of this hole. And then just kind of spin that, move it around. So I can use this one, it's already got grease on it. There we go. That should do. Just give it a spin, make sure the grease makes its way around. Okay, we got C4, little shaft, C3, and then C5 goes on that. There's already a bit of grease on the end of that, so I'm just gonna kind of use that. Okay, and then put a little bit of grease on this end, because I can use what I've got here from this. Okay. Need one of those 3mm washers. Just put some more grease around. There we go. And then this whole assembly goes on the end of this. There we go. Okay, now all of that, there's nothing holding that together. That just needs to get dropped into the housing, but I might need to put together the other gear assembly. I'm gonna just take a risk and set that right there. Hopefully that doesn't get knocked over. All right, so I want to show you this. So we just finished that gear assembly there. And this other one has got to mate up with that. So it's going to essentially look like that when it's done. So it's going to mate at that interface there and that interface there. This is just going to be piece 2, C2. It's going to go this way, and I need that other 2x19 shaft, which of course needs the grease. Okay, looks like that's good to go. So this white bushing's got to go in that little spot for it, and then looks like that one goes there, and that one goes in there, and then this one there's 2 little divots there. For the shaft on that other gear assembly to go into. There we go. That was not bad at all. There we go. Feels good. Okay, now they do say to add grease to all, spread a thin layer of grease on teeth of each gear. Okay, so let's just, I don't know if I have that much, but okay, we'll call it good on that one. Okay, next step is to insert the motor. It's going to go like this. Should fit in right there. Okay, yeah, there's a slot. Let me pull that out so you can see it. So there's a slot down in here that the edge of this little piece of plastic goes into. That corner right there goes in, holds that in place nicely. There's a few more pieces on this assembly step. So there's our motor. Looks like there's another little, they call it the switch terminal. It's probably, yep, this copper piece here. And they show a little diagram of how to attach it. Looks like it's kind of got to loop through in a specific way. Make sure I don't get any grease on that, because that would cause problems. Okay, so that's got to go around this. There's a little kind of comet teardrop shaped post there. It's got to wrap around that, and then the contact has to go above this post, well, both of these posts. And then there's another piece here, B1. And that's got to go this way, looks like. Okay, now we need the other half of the main housing. Okay, it seems to fit together well. And then we've got tapping screws for those. So it looks like I've got two of these 2mm washers and one of the 3mm and two extra clips. Did they really give me that many spares, or did I miss something? Yeah, I guess they just give us plenty of extras. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so our tapping screws here. Just get those started. This is not the right size of driver for this. This one might be too big. We'll see. Yeah, it works. Don't want to over tighten. Just go until it's snugs up a little bit. In the fight between a steel screw thread and plastic, I don't have to tell you who's going to win that fight. Okay, there it is. Let's get our battery door. Okay. They've given us 2 chucks for different sizes of drill. See that? Let's see which fits. They also give us a drill bit. Let's see which one fits. I don't know. Yeah, that one's probably not right. That's probably this one. Okay, so we'll throw that one on there. Throw that chuck in, throw the collet on. Okay, let me find some batteries. So I've got lots of these rechargeable ones, but these are nickel metal halide, NIMH. And the instructions do specifically say to not use nickel metal halide. Where did I see that? Yeah, so here it is on the box. It says, for your safety, never use nickel metal halide batteries. So I don't know why that would be, but I'm going to trust that that's the case and not use them because I don't know any better. Some of you might, but I don't. Okay, got a couple batteries. Okay. Let's drill some stuff. Okay, so yeah, so this is why you need this little button here, because if you try and tighten down that collet, it just spins the shaft. So you push that in. Didn't really notice it when I was putting it together, but you can kind of see it on there. There's like a little hole that when you push that button, it slots into there, locks it in place. But it's just, so if you push it in and it doesn't go in all the way, then it's not lined up with that hole. But if you just spin it a little ways, it'll spin around, and when it comes to that spot, it'll click in place. So now it's locked. Okay. Okay, nice. I was a little worried. I'd seen other videos and reviews of this little tool before, and I was worried that it might be too fast. But that's a good speed. It doesn't really have like speed control. It's just on off. So it doesn't matter how much or how little you push the trigger in. It's just once it makes contact, it goes full speed. So you know, if you're doing something really delicate, you'll probably still want to use a pin vise and do it by hand if you need to take something slow. But if you're just banging out a whole bunch of holes and need to get through them quick, I think this will be good. Like I said, it doesn't seem to be going too fast like I was worried about. Whoop, there we go. Nice. Yeah. I felt good. Like I felt like I had decent control over that. cup. Yeah, feels good. Cool. Well, this will be a hand saver in the future for sure. I like it. There you go. That's the Tamiya electric handy drill. It was a fun little project. I like that I got to actually build it. I mean, it would be a useful tool on its own if you just bought it fully assembled, but for people like us who like to build things, it's kind of fun. So there we go. Thanks for watching.